Let's begin by offering our respects to ISKCON founder Acharya and our preeminent Shiksha Guru, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
घातली घाल कानात ऐकू येणार नाही त्याशिवाय.
Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Taruvyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
So we welcome, please repeat after me. I'm sorry. We welcome all of you to our weekly Krishna book classes. We have with us here, let's see, Lavina Dadlani, Auntie Nita, Ritu Lalwani, Aja, Dadmalis, Deepa Vijay Kumar, Devina, Dipti Adnani, Kamala Nandini Mataji. Then we have Anjali Karnani, Karuna, Krishna Prakash. Then we have Makeshwari Mataji, Meenakshi, Nikita Gokani. Then we have Nupur Kothari. My husband is there. My parents are there. Then we have Saili Chodankar. We have Shailesh Latkar. Shantaram and Sheetal Latkar, Shivani, Shreya Kalaria, Shri Radhe Hari Mataji, Swapna Latkar, Upasna, Venkatchari, Vivansh, and Priyanka. Okay. So what did we see in the previous class? The birth of,
Birth of Krishna.
yes, the birth of Lord Krishna is the title of chapter number 3. So what did we see? The birth of Krishna or the appearance of Krishna depends on what factors? Does it depend on any factor?
His free will.
His own free will. No, Krishna is completely independent, Swarat. So he can appear when he wants, where he wants, how he wants, to whichever parents he wants to. There is no rule and regulation that he has to comply with. Unlike us, no, when we take birth, then it depends on what factors.
What we did in our previous birth
Yes.
and what
Karma and vikarma.
What is our karma?
Past karma.
According to what we did in the previous lifetime. So according to what we deserve and also what we
Desire.
desire. Yes, what we deserve and what we desire. For example, if somebody is a qualified physician, no, and he's qualified to perform a multi-organ transplant. But if he doesn't want to do it, who can force him to do that transplant? On the other side, he may want to perform the transplant, but if he's not qualified, he's not educated, then nobody's going to allow him to do it. No, he's not allowed to do it. So therefore, both factors are important. We should desire as well as we should deserve. So that will determine our next destination. The current body that we have is based on what we did previously, is based on what we desired previously. So now what we are doing in this lifetime actually is going to shape our future. What is the next body that we are going to get depends on our day-to-day activities that we are doing in this lifetime. So it's very, very important that we engage in the right kind of activities because our future body depends on that. If we are going to engage in sinful activities like meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, and gambling, then we are not creating a good future for ourselves. No, then we may degrade to an animal body, plant body, fish, aquatics, and then again we have to go through those so many millions of bodies before we can get this precious human body. So therefore, it's
Can I
very
ask?
important that we engage in a life free of sin, and also we chant the holy name. The reason why we follow these 4 regular principles of no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling is so that we can purify our mind. And when we purify our mind, then we are mentally uh, stable and conscious to be able to chant the holy name, to be able to chant the holy name. So both these factors are very, very important. See, when we are diseased, we go to the doctor. The doctor says, okay, you take this medicine and then you have to follow this diet restriction. No, so both are important. That medicine also is important, plus the diet restriction also is important to cure us of the disease. So we are materially diseased. We are materially diseased. Therefore, we go to the doctor, we go to our spiritual master, and our spiritual master our Acharya, Dr. Srila Prabhupada, tells us, okay, your medicine is this. Chant minimum 16 rounds, and your diet restriction is this. No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling. So if we can do both these together under the instruction of our bona fide spiritual master, then we can be cured of our material disease. So this is very, very important. Okay, what else did we see in the previous class? So under what star did Krishna appear?
Rohini Nakshatra.
Rohini Nakshatra. Yes, very nice. And when Krishna appeared, we saw how everything became auspicious. No, all the stars, they realigned themselves so that everything can be auspicious. And even the residents of the higher planetary systems, the Gandharvas, the Charanas, the Kinnaras, the Siddhalok, the Siddhas, they all were showering flowers when the Lord appeared. They were singing his glories. They were offering prayers like that. What name of Vasudev did we see in this chapter, in the previous chapter?
The drums, the drum.
Kanakadudumbi.
Anakadundubi, yes,
Anakadudumbi.
very nice, very nice. So Anakadundubi is another name of Vasudev that we saw in the previous class. Very good. And when Krishna appeared, he appeared in what form? How many hands?
Four hands.
Four hands.
Four
He came in
hands.
the four-handed Narayan form. Why did he appear in that form? Why did he choose to appear in that form?
So that Devaki will know that the Supreme Personality of God has taken birth.
Exactly, yes, spot on. He appeared especially so that Devaki and also his father can know that he is the Supreme Personality of God, that their child is not an ordinary child, and so they can be assured that yes, God himself has appeared as their son. So Krishna tells them that this is the third time that they have been his parents, and he describes to them also their previous two births. And so what were they? Initially, when Krishna was born as their son, what were their names?
Kashyapa.
Sutapa
Sutapa and Prishni. And the Lord appeared to him as, what was Krishna's name at that time when he appeared to Sutapa and Prishni?
Krishna Garbha.
Prishni Garbha, yes, very nice. Then second life was?
Aditi and Kashyap.
Yes. And then that time the Lord's name was?
Upendra.
Vamandev.
Upendra
Upendra,
or
Vamandev.
Vamanadev, no? And now in the third birth, they have got Krishna as their son. Okay. So then what happens towards the end of the chapter? What did we see? Devaki requests Krishna to please appear as a normal baby, as a normal child with only two hands. No, because she's saying that Kamsa is going to soon come. So she tells him, please change your form from your four-handed form and appear as a normal child. And then, where does
And
Vasudeva
then
go?
Krishna tells Vasudev to take him to Nanda Maharaj
Yes.
and change the girl child of Nanda Maharaj with him.
Yes, exactly. So he tells him, Krishna tells his father that take me to Gokul and switch me with the girl child that is born to Yashoda. So does Vasudev do that?
Yes, he does.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
So if somebody says,
He
but
crosses the
if now
Jamuna and
somebody
does
may
it.
question from the external angle of vision or from the materialistic angle of vision, somebody may question, no, that why did Vasudev risk the life of a girl child, of another's child, to keep his own child safe? So then,
He doesn't
Because that was his orders.
Krishna's order.
exactly, that
That was
was
his
what
order
he was
from
instructed to
Krishna.
do by Krishna. No, so if Krishna says do this, it means that is dharma, that is lawful. There is nothing wrong in doing that. Just as how Arjuna, when he fought the war, he did it under the instruction of Krishna. So Arjuna will not take the karmic reaction for killing his guru. Otherwise, killing a guru can bring a lot of karmic reaction. No, but because he did it under the instruction of Krishna, therefore it is free of any karmic reaction. One should not think. One should just execute the order. That's it. Just as how somebody in the army, if his senior says shoot, he will shoot. The government is not going to punish him. In fact, the government will reward him. No. So when the same activity is done for your own sense gratification, if Arjuna would have killed with the desire that I want to be the king, I want to have the kingdom, if he would have done it for his own sense gratification, then yes, the karmic reaction would have come. But because he did it under the instruction of Krishna, for the pleasure of Krishna, therefore it is glorious. Same thing with Vasudev. He just executed the order of Krishna. So there is nothing wrong, there is nothing immoral. Okay. So are we ready for today's class?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Okay. Seeing by the mercy of Sri Guru and Sri Krishna, chapter number 4. This chapter is titled Kaṁsa begins his persecutions. Let's read. After Vasudev adjusted things as they had been before, he carried Krishna to Gokul, and all the doors and gates became similarly closed. The gatekeepers awoke and heard the newborn child crying. Kamsa was waiting to hear the news of the child's birth, and the gatekeepers immediately approached him and informed him that the child was born. At that time, Kamsa got up from his bed very quickly and exclaimed, "Now the cruel death of my life is born." Kamsa became perplexed now that his death was approaching and his hair scattered. Immediately he proceeded toward the place where the child was born. So now Vasudev has come back from Gokul and everything has been adjusted. He puts the chains around him. The gates are again closing and the guards have woken up and Krishna is crying like an ordinary child. So hearing the crying of Krishna, these gatekeepers, they wake up and they go and inform Kamsa. Now remember, Krishna appeared at 12 midnight. No, so it's well past midnight now. And the gatekeepers immediately go and inform Kamsa. And Kamsa actually was not sleeping. He was undergoing so much of anxiety because of Devaki's eighth son that he was not even sleeping. And then as soon as he comes to know, he says, "Now the cruel death of my life is born." The word he uses is Kal. He says, "My Kal has come." What is this Kal? Kal is another name of the Lord when he especially comes only to kill. When he comes especially only to kill. In the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna shows the universal form to Arjuna, the Virat Roop, when he shows the Virat Roop to Arjuna, that time Arjuna is so surprised because he has never seen that form of Krishna. No, previously Krishna and Arjuna were like friends. They would be sitting at the same level and they would joke and they would talk and they would have conversations. But Arjuna has never seen Krishna like that in that universal form. So Arjuna asks him, "Who are you? And what is your mission?" So that time Krishna says that I am time, I am Kal, he says, and my mission is to destroy. So the Lord's name is Kal, which means when he comes specifically to kill, then he is called as Kal, time, the time factor. And Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita that that death, death is Sarvahara. Sarvahara means death takes everything from you. Sarva, it takes away everything from you. It takes away all that you have accumulated, your hard-earned money that that you have worked hard all your lifetime. It takes away your money, your family, your children, your even your identity also is taken away. No, so death is called as Sarvahara. So now Kamsa is so fearful that he says that yes, my call has come, and immediately he proceeds towards that prison house where Krishna has appeared. Devaki, on seeing her brother approaching, prayed in a very meek attitude to Kamsa, "My dear brother, please do not kill this female child. I promise that this child will be the wife of your son. Therefore, don't kill her. You are not to be killed by any female child. The omen was that you are to be killed by a male child. So please do not kill her. My dear brother, you have killed so many of my children who were just born, shining like the sun. That is not your fault. You have been advised by demoniac friends to kill my children. But now I beg you to excuse this girl at least. Let her live as my daughter." So see, Devaki is begging and pleading with Kamsa that please do not kill at least this girl child. And our acharyas explained that Devaki was very, very expert in confusing Kamsa. So she is very expert in confusing Kamsa by saying that the omen was that only a male child will kill you. But actually, as we discussed previously, the omen was that Devaki's eighth child would kill you. No. So she's telling him that no, the omen was that a male child will kill you. And she's also saying that my daughter will marry your son. So she's confusing Kamsa. Somehow or the other, she wants to prevent Kamsa from killing this particular girl child. So this also shows how glorious is the character of Devaki. Because she knows her own son is safe in Gokul, with Yashoda. And this girl child does not belong to her. But she's trying her best to save this particular girl child, although she knows that this is not my child and my son actually is already safe. Kamsa was so cruel that he did not listen to the pitiful prayers of his sister Devaki. He forcibly grabbed the newborn child to rebuke his sister and attempted to dash her on a stone mercilessly. This is a graphic example of a cruel demon who could sacrifice all relationships for the sake of personal gratification. But the child immediately slipped out of his hands, went up into the sky, and appeared with 8 arms as the younger sister of Vishnu. She was decorated with uh, with nice garments and flower garlands and ornaments in her 8 hands. She held a bow, lance, arrows, sword, conch shell, disc, club, and shield. So, who is this personality?
Durga.
Yogamaya.
Devi, yes.
Durga Devi.
Mahamaya Durga Devi.
Yes, Mahamaya, Durga Devi. The girl child who appeared to Yashoda was which Maya? Yogamaya?
Yogamaya.
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 Yogamaya. But as soon as Kamsa has taken her, she has taken the form of Mahamaya. Because
Mahamaya.
Yogamaya does not deal with demons. Take the appearance of the child who was actually the goddess Durga. All the demigods from different planets like Siddhaloka, Charanaloka, Gandharva Apsaraloka, Kinnaraloka, and Uragaloka presented her with various articles and began to offer their respective prayers. From above, addressed Kamsa, "You rascal, how can you kill me? The child who will kill you is already born before me somewhere within this world. Don't be so cruel to your poor sister." After this appearance, goddess Durga became known by various names in various parts of the world. So, what is Durga Devi telling Kamsa? That the child who will kill you is already born before me somewhere within this world. Was he born somewhere else? Was
Was
Krishna,
born
did
here.
Krishna appear somewhere else, or he had appeared right there in that prison?
Right there.
Right
Right
there in that prison house. No, but even Durga Devi is confusing Kamsa by saying that he is born somewhere within this world. Somewhere within this world. So she's saying that, she's telling him that she's confusing Kamsa, and then she says, "Don't be cruel to your poor sister." Yeah, Shailesh? You're on mute.
Yeah, I thought that flowers and garlands are only to be offered to the Supreme Godhead. So why are they offering it to Goddess Durga?
No, we can offer
That
flowers.
Karna Loka, Gata Loka.
We can offer, see, um, all these devatas are doing service to the Lord, and anyone who renders service to the Lord is glorious, can be worshipped. But we have to worship them in their position, in their position. If you worship Durga Devi as the supreme personality of Godhead, then that is offensive. Neither she will like it, because it's like if you are not the president of the country and somebody is glorifying you that you are the president of the country, it will be embarrassing for you, right? So anybody who's engaged in the service of the Lord is also worshipable. So therefore, these residents of the higher planetary systems are worshipping Durga because she has appeared there and she is rendering service to Krishna. Okay. After hearing these words, Kamsa became very much overwhelmed with fear. Out of pity, he immediately released Vasudeva and Devaki from the bondage of their shackles and very politely began to address them. He said, "My dear sister and brother-in-law, I have acted just like a demon in killing my own nephews, your children, and thereby I have given up all consideration of our intimate relationship. I do not know what will be the result of these envious acts of mine. Probably I shall be sent to the hell where killers of the Brahmanas go. I am surprised, however, that the celestial prophecy has not come true. It is not only in human society that false propaganda is found. Now it appears that even the celestial denizens speak lies. Because I believed in the words of the celestial denizens, I have committed so many sins by killing the children of my sister. My dear Vasudeva and Devaki, you are both very great souls. I have no instructions to give you, but still I request that you not be sorry for the death of your children. Every one of us is under the control of superior power, and that superior power does not allow us to remain together. We are bound to be separated from our friends and relatives in due course of time. But we must know for certain that even after the disappearance of the different material bodies, the soul remains in eternally. For example, there are many pots made of earthly clay and they are prepared and also broken. But in spite of this, the earth remains as it is perpetually. Similarly, okay, one second, I need to mute someone here. Similarly, the bodies of the soul under different conditions are made and destroyed, but the spirit soul remains eternally. So there is nothing to lament over. Everyone should understand that this material body is different from the spirit soul. So as long as one does not come to that understanding, he is sure to accept the process of transmigration from one body to another. Who is speaking all this?
Kaṁsa.
Kaṁsa is speaking. So what do you think? What he is saying here is true or false?
True.
It's true, right?
It is true. Yes,
true.
it is true. Because see, he's talking about the karmic reaction for killing all these children. And he's saying that I shall be sent to the hell where killers of the Brahmana go. So he's very well aware that yes, there are hellish planets where people will be sent to pay for their sinful activities. So he's very well aware of that. In fact, if you go to Srimad Bhagavatam, fifth canto, chapter number 26. You go to your Veda base, go to Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, chapter number 26. That chapter is titled A Description of the Hellish Planets. There is a detailed description of 28 hellish planets. 28 hellish planets Sukadeva Goswami has described. And it gives very, very graphic details of how the jivas have to pay for their past sins. So what kind of sin one commits and what is the suffering for that particular sin. So there are different kinds of punishments for different kinds of sinful activities. You can read that if you like in your Bhagavatam. So he is very well aware that he will be sent to the hell where killers of the Brahmanas go. And then what is he saying? And then he says it appears that even the celestial denizens speak lies. Why does he say this? What is the one thing that he feels that it was false?
Because it did
That
not
there
come
is no
true.
male child. There is no eighth male child.
Okay, that is one factor. And another one?
The eighth child flew off. The child didn't kill.
Yes. And one more?
She was a girl.
Okay, one more?
That the child will be born to Devaki.
Yes,
He
the
was
child,
born
because
to
he was
Devaki.
expecting the child will be born to whom? To Devaki and Vasudev.
Devaki.
Durga Devi told him that he has already taken birth elsewhere. No, so he is thinking that even the celestial denizens are speaking lies. And then he's saying, I committed these sinful activities because I trusted the words of the celestial denizens, but even they are speaking lies, he's saying. Then he's saying, do not be sorry for the death of your children because there is a superior power and everyone is under the control of a superior power. So which means he's saying that he's saying that all this happens because it was all destined. We are all playing roles and we are all puppets under the hands of destiny. So because this was destined that I should be killing all these children of yours, therefore this thing happened. So he's saying we are all under the control of a superior power. So is it true that Kamsa was destined to kill these 6 children of Devaki that he killed? Is it true?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
It is true.
Yes.
It was already destined. So then, if it is already destined, then why should Kamsa pay for those sins?
Because he has a free will.
Because he has a free will. So if he has a free will, then how come it is destined?
Because depending on his swabhav,
No, in this
Behaving
life,
on his own
life
will.
he has the free will to not to kill the kids, right?
Because it's sinful to kill the kids of Devki and Vasudev. And it's Narad, I think Vasudev in the wedding said that Narad, I think, said that it is sinful for him to kill the kids of Devki and something like that happened. That's why. But when the free will is not used and it's forced to be used by the 3 modes, then you get a reaction.
Mataji, as you said that
if it is not the order of Krishna, then you will get the karmic reaction. So as the killing was not the order of Krishna, so Kamsa will definitely get the karmic reaction.
Okay. But is it fair that it was already written in destiny that he's going to do it and he will do it? So is it fair then that, because this has been predetermined already, that he's going to kill them?
It was a plan of Krishna that this should have happened because these 6 children were Kam, Krodh, Lust, or something like that. And they had to be removed in order for Krishna to be coming to the world, something like that.
So they had to be removed, but then, so Kamsa was used as an instrument, right?
Yes.
So then why should Kamsa pay for it?
Because
Because he still did what he did.
it's the Lord's mother and father that he is killing the kids of. The Lord does not it's sinful. It's his brothers that he killed, and it's the parents that he tortured and harassed. When it's sinful to treat his sister like this at the wedding ceremony and at the chariot and everything, because he did it out of fear, out of his life. He wanted to save his own life, and he didn't know any other ways. He thought that by killing these children, he'd be safe. But destiny had else planned for him.
Okay, let's take an example. Let's say there are 2 boys, no, and they are fighting, and one boy kills another boy, he murders him. Now the karmic reaction is, in the next lifetime, the boy who was killed will kill the other boy in the next lifetime. Okay?
Yes.
So that's karmic reaction. Now it is already destined that this other boy will be murdered because he murdered in the previous life. So now what happens? Now does the second murderer also again pay for the karmic reaction? Will the cycle of karma continue? A
No.
killed
Yes.
B and then B killed A. So then again will
No,
A kill B and again B will kill A and again A will kill B and again B will kill A. How does it
no,
continue?
no.
The
It
karmic
depends.
once
It depends on the choices that they make.
no
It depends on
once someone
It depends on the choices that they make.
It depends on the
It will stop
choices
him.
that they make. Yes. See, A killed B, and the karmic reaction for that is that B should kill A. But in the next lifetime, this person can make the choice that I want to be a devotee. I want to dedicate my life to Krishna. I don't want to engage in violence. Yes. He can choose that. He can choose to do that. Why? Because he has the minute independence, or he always has his free will. Never that free will is taken away from us, not in the material world, not even in the spiritual world. Even in the spiritual world, we always have our minute independence to choose, to make our choices, to make our choices. Hmm? So if A kills B and then B kills A and then again A will kill B and again B will kill A, this cycle of karma will continue on and on and on and on. How can we break free from this karmic cycle is when we take to bhakti, when we take to devotion. Then the karma will be negated. Otherwise, it will never be negated. Otherwise, it will never be negated. It will go on. But what Krishna does is, now in this case, in Kamsa's case, Kamsa was destined to kill the 6 children of Devaki, who actually were his own children from the previous lifetime. We have seen this before. No, but Krishna does not force Kamsa to do it. Kamsa did it out of his own free will. He chose to do it. He could have chosen not to do it, but he chose to do it. So what Krishna does is he makes the two things coincide, because Krishna already knows in advance. Kamsa will choose that he wants to kill. Krishna knows in advance that this is what he is going to choose to do. And therefore the destiny is there, and he makes the two things coincide. All right. So therefore Kamsa, although it is destined that he will kill the 6 children of Devaki, still he has to pay for the karmic reaction.
But isn't it all the celestial being scared him? Even Narada was also trying, scaring him, right? Isn't that the reason in the beginning he didn't want to. He gave the kid back, right? He had a good. thought.
He had shades of goodness, but see, overall, he is very, very evil. And therefore, Narada did what he did was that he gave Kamsa some secret information so that he can speed up the process of Krishna's descent. So by Narada doing that, he speeds up the process of Krishna's descent. And when this thing is speeding up, it is good also for Kamsa, because the longer he will live, the more sinful activities he is going to perform and the more karmic reaction he's going to take. So it's better for him to die before he accumulates more and more bad karma. So actually Narada Muni did a favor on Kamsa also by speeding up the process. Okay. But yes, Kamsa did have the association of other very, very evil ministers, which we will see later in today's chapter. Because of his association with many evil ministers, therefore he was also misguided even more. Yeah, Shivani, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, Mataji, when you're saying that it was already destined to happen, so you're saying because of free will, one can change their destiny?
Yes. Yes, you can change your destiny by surrendering to Krishna. When you bring Krishna in the center of your lives, your destiny can be changed for the better.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You can still see the PowerPoint, right?
Yes.
Okay, now coming back here. Okay, so where are these hellish planets situated? Just some technical
May I
information.
ask a question?
Yes, Shailesh, I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask that he knows that he has a superior power. He knows that he has killed children. He knows everything. He lets his sister and brother go. Uh, After a while, it feels like he has accepted his fate, and he expects that if he is killed by the superior power, he'll get liberated. Is that what he's thinking?
No, he's not thinking that he will get liberated. He's thinking, see, demons, they know many things, but they are not able to apply what they know. Because, see, a cigarette smoker may know that my smoking the cigarette is not good for my health. But because he's so addicted to smoking, he cannot give it up. So demons are like that. They are less intelligent. They may know theoretically, even Ravan. Theoretically, all knowledge was there. But there was a problem in putting into practice what he has learned. So one thing is jnana, to accumulate knowledge. Another thing is vijnana, to apply that knowledge. So that was what Kamsa was lacking.
I thought he's trying to he's thinking that my karma has become so bad now that it is better to get that clash done and be liberated, is what
No,
I was thinking.
when
Because
one
otherwise it
realizes,
doesn't make sense. It
yeah,
doesn't make sense why he's liberated his brother-in-law and his sister.
he liberated them because Durga Devi told him, no, Durga Devi told him that don't be so harsh, don't be so cruel on your sister and brother-in-law. Because Durga Devi told him, and he saw Durga like that, so he was so astonished and shocked, and he was so afraid also. And normally demons, no, they are worshippers of Durga Devi. So Kamsa was so
Okay,
bewildered when he saw Durga, and Durga gave him that advice, don't be so cruel. So now he wants to release them.
okay.
Then coming here, he says, okay, coming back to where is the hellish planet. See, we know that Garbhodakashay Vishnu is lying within the universe, no? And he half fills the universe with the Garbhodaka ocean. Now, above this Garbhodaka ocean are the 14 planetary systems. Now, within the 14 planetary systems, you have below the earthly planetary systems are in the middle of these 14 planetary systems. And below the earthly planetary systems are what you call as the lower planetary systems. So these planets here are the lower planetary systems. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, and Patala. You may have heard Patalok. Now under Patala, below Patala Lok, but above the Garbhodaka ocean, you have the hellish planets, Naraka Loka and Pitra Loka. Pitra Loka is the loka where our ancestors, they reside for some time after they pass away before the judgment is passed. Sometimes there may be delay in the judgment being passed. depending on some factors. So for until that time, then they reside in the Pitra Loka. That's why uh, the children of the deceased parents, they may undergo some ceremonies, they may perform some ceremonies in order that the residents or their ancestors who are, if they are residing in Pitra Loka, then they can get an upgrade when the children perform certain ceremonies. So below the Patala Loka, but above the Garbhodaka ocean, is where the Naraka Loka and the Pitra Loka planets are situated. Now, as I said in the Bhagavatam, there is a description of these different hellish planets. And Kaṁsa talks about, I will go to the hellish planet for killing a Brahmana. So I just put this here. What is the karmic reaction for killing a Brahmana? This is described. The killer of a Brahmana is put into the hell known as Kala Sutra, which has a circumference of 80,000 miles and which is made entirely of copper, heated from below by fire and from above by the scorching sun. The copper surface of this planet is extremely hot. Thus, the murderer of a Brahmana suffers from being burned both internally and externally. Internally, he is burning with hunger and thirst, and externally he is burning from the scorching heat of the sun and the fire beneath the copper surface. Therefore, he sometimes lies down, sometimes sits, sometimes stands up, and sometimes runs here and there. He must suffer in this way for as many thousands of years as there are hairs on the body of an animal. So Kaṁsa is not, it's not that Kaṁsa is completely ignorant of the facts. He very well knows that there is a karmic reaction that is going to come. And then he says, he's telling, my dear Vasudeva and Devaki, you are both very great souls. What do you mean by, okay, how will you translate great souls in Sanskrit?
Shuddhatma.
Maha Atma, great Maha, and soul is Atma. So Mahan Atma or Mahatma, no? Mahatma. So he's saying that you are all Mahatmas. Now, what is the definition of a Mahatma? Who is a Mahatma? Whom
A
can you call
saint,
as a Mahatma?
a saintly person.
A saintly person. So what makes a person saintly?
Activity
But
history.
their deeds, their
Surrendering to
deeds,
Krishna.
What kind of deeds?
Bhakti deeds.
good deeds, good deeds.
Bhakti
Well,
deeds. Yes, bhakti. When one engages in bhakti, then that person is glorious. Anybody who engages in devotional service to the Lord is glorious. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvam iti mahatma su durlabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. So such a great soul or Mahatma, a great soul is one person who surrenders unto me, Krishna says. So anybody who surrenders to Krishna is a Mahatma. Yes, there is a question here from Shantaramji. You have your hand raised.
You can hear.
Okay, we'll wait until they are ready. Shivani, you have a question. Meanwhile, you can ask.
Yeah, Mataji, there was somebody talking. I missed it. What did you say about great souls?
A great soul is a person who surrenders to Krishna, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Now, yes, Shantaramji, are you ready with your question?
Yeah, it's okay. No problem. No, I don't have a question. By mistake,
Okay. Okay. See, in this verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam, one of Krishna's names we say is Mahat Padam. Mahat Padam means he is the shelter of the great souls. He is the shelter of the Mahatmas. So therefore, because Anyone who surrenders to Krishna is glorious. They are called as Mahatmas. And Krishna is also Mahatpadam. He is the shelter of all these Mahatmas. Okay. Then what he says, he's talking about how one is not the body, but one is spirit soul. Because see what here Kaṁsa is saying is, everyone should understand that this material body is different from the spirit soul. So he also knows that the soul is different from the body. The body is material, the soul is spiritual. So the body dies, the spirit soul never dies. So he also has that understanding, and he also understands how one is sure to accept the process of transmigration from one body to another body. So what happens when death occurs? The soul takes another body. So the soul never dies. The soul only is transmigrating from one body to another body. So death is not a full stop. Death is not a full stop. Death is only a comma. The soul continues. So you can see here in this picture how we can understand transmigration. So from the soul will change different bodies, and then gets the human body, and then the human body also is undergoing changes, no, from boyhood to youth to old age. Like that, the body is constantly changing, but the soul remains unchanged. So this knowledge also Kamsa very well has. The body undergoes 6 changes. What are the 6 changes of the body? Birth, growth, sustenance, byproducts, dwindling, and then annihilation. But the soul undergoes no such changes. So the body is born, and then the body grows, right, from birth to boyhood. Then it remains for some time, sustenance. For some time the body remains. In the youth period, the body maintains, no? The body remains for some time. Then it produces byproducts. What are the byproducts of the body? What do you think are the byproducts of the body?
Siblings.
Children.
What's that?
Children.
Children, yes, children. Then we have children also. The body has byproducts. Then dwindling. Dwindling means old age. And
Children.
then annihilation means death. So like this, the body goes through 6 changes, but the soul does not undergo any change. Actually, this is the first lesson of spiritual life. You are not the body, you are spirit soul. This is the first lesson that Krishna gives Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita as well. Okay, then Kamsa continues. My dear sister, you are so gentle and kind. Please excuse me. Don't be aggrieved by the death of your children, which I have caused. Actually, this was not done by me, because all these are predestined activities. One has to act according to the predestined plan, even unwillingly. People misunderstand that with the end of the body, the self dies, or they think that one can kill another living entity. All these misconceptions oblige one to accept the conditions of material existence. In other words, as long as one is not firmly convinced of the eternality of the soul, one is subjected to the tribulation of being killer and the kill. My dear sister Devaki and brother-in-law Vasudev, kindly excuse the atrocities I have committed against you. I am very poor-hearted, and you are so great-hearted. So take compassion upon me and excuse me. So now Kamsa wants them to excuse him for the atrocities that he has caused. So what do you think? Are they going to forgive? How many
Yes,
of
they
us,
will.
how many of us can
Yes.
forgive someone who is going to kill our children? What do you think?
But they were Mahatmas.
In material life, no one. In spiritual life, yes, they can.
Because one quality of a Vaishnava is very compassionate. No, very compassionate. So compassion is one quality of a Vaishnava, and they are such exalted personalities. They are such Mahatmas that they are
Mahatma.
willing to even forgive Kamsa. See, here is for somebody who argues about destiny, no, this is one verse in the Bhagavad Gita that can answer this question. One who is not motivated by false ego, whose intelligence is not entangled, though he kills men in this world, does not kill, nor is he bound by his actions. So one will not be bound by our actions. One is not bound by karma or karmic reactions only when one is not motivated by false ego and whose intelligence is not entangled. So false ego means what? Ego, that any ego that identifies us with the body, that I am man, I am woman, I am Indian, I am American, I am Hindu, I am Muslim, I am rich, I am poor. All these are bodily identifications. No, but when we realize that we are the soul, and that this soul is part and parcel of Krishna, which means we are eternally the servants of Krishna. So when we don't have any false ego and when our intelligence is not entangled, which means that we are not falsely claiming proprietorship or we are not falsely claiming anything other than being the servants of Krishna, no. So only then, so that means we have Krishna in our center and we want to please Krishna. We don't have any personal motivations. So only such a person will not be bound by karmic reactions, because whatever he does for Krishna and he does exactly what Krishna likes. Only that person is not bound by his actions, unlike Kamsa. Because Kamsa, his motivation is what? He himself wants to rule. He wants the power. He wants to flourish. He doesn't want to die because he wants to continue with his atrocious activities. So this is not the case with Kamsa. Yeah, Shailesh, you have your hand raised.
On one hand, we're saying that Mahatma forgives, and then they forgive Kansa, but then doesn't it affect the society that we live in? I mean, if we forgive the people who kill our children, then what kind of what kind of a society will we have if such
That's,
actions are
yeah.
forgiven?
See, that's the reason why when there is an injustice, then you take the proper uh, now in the material realm, if there is some injustice, if there is a murder or something, if you also commit the murder, then you will also be prisoned, right? The government is not going to forgive you for that. So you take the proper course of action. You go to the police, you file a complaint, there is a law and order in the society, right? Then the court decides whatever has to be done with the murderers. In the same way, a devotee depends on Krishna. A devotee says, okay, Krishna is there, the Lord is there, and he will bring justice. One should not take the law in his own hands, even in the material world. So in the same way, it also applies even in our spiritual life. So we take authority from our superiors, from our seniors. Okay. Okay, coming back to our Krishna book. When Kamsa was speaking to his brother-in-law and sister, tears flowed from his eyes and he fell down at their feet. So imagine Kamsa now, he's crying profusely and he's falling down at the feet of his sister and brother-in-law. Believing the words of Durga Devi, whom he had tried to kill, Kamsa released his brother-in-law and sister. So see, because Durga Devi told uh, Kamsa, therefore, believing in her words, Kamsa has released his brother-in-law and sister. He personally unlocked the iron shackles and very sympathetically showed his friendship for his family members. When Devaki saw her brother so repentant, she also became pacified and forgot all his atrocious activities against her children. So she not only forgave, she even forgot. Just see the glorious character of Devaki. Vasudev, also forgetting all past incidents, spoke smilingly with his brother-in-law. Vasudev told Kamsa, my dear fortunate brother-in-law, what you are saying about the material body and the soul is correct. Every living entity is born ignorant, misunderstanding this material body to be his self. This conception of life is due to ignorance, and on the basis of this ignorance, we create enmity or friendship. Lamentation, jubilation, fearfulness, envy, greed, illusion, and madness are different features of our material concept of life. A person influenced like this engages in enmity only due to the material body. Being engaged in such activities, we forget our eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Vasudev also is telling that, yes, what you are saying is correct. And he says every living entity is born ignorant. There is one prayer which we recite when we start our classes. The very first prayer we say, Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Ajnana. Ajnana means what?
Not having not having knowledge.
Ignorance.
Jnana means no knowledge, which means ignorance. No, Timir means darkness, and Andha means blind. So Oma Jnana Timirandasya means we were born in the darkness of ignorance. But then what happens? There is this personality. He does something for us. What does he do? Jnananjana Shalakaya. With the medical tool Shalakaya, he applies the Anjana. He applies the ointment. What is the ointment that he applies? He applies the ointment of
Knowledge.
jnana, of knowledge. He applies the, where does he apply? Chakshur. Chakshu means eyes, no? So when one is blind, one is diseased. So he applies this ointment of knowledge where? In the eyes, in the chakshu. Unmilitam, and by applying that, he opens our eyes. So he's opening our eyes from the darkness of ignorance. No, this is what this verse means. And who is that personality? Yena, by whom? The person who does this, Tasmai Shri, unto him. Tasmai Shri Gurave. So it's the Guru who does this. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my obeisances unto that personality. So this is what this verse means. So Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. The word Guru itself means one who dispels darkness, because Gu means darkness and Ru means remover. So Guru is that personality who removes us from the darkness, because we are all born in ignorance. But the spiritual master, he removes us from the darkness of ignorance. Therefore, it is very, very important that we accept a bona fide, authorized spiritual master. Okay. What does Vasudev say here? So he's saying that because we are born ignorant, every living entity is born ignorant. Therefore, we are engaging in all kinds of activities like enmity or friendship, because one is on the bodily concept of life. We have to always remember we are not this body. We are not what we see in the mirror. What we see in the mirror is not us. That's not us. Okay, we are the spirit soul. So all our enmities and friendships are all based on the body. Our family, our children are all in this lifetime. But when death strikes, next lifetime, we are going to have another family. We will have another set of friends. We will have another set of enemies. So all this is because we are in the bodily concept of life. But when we understand that we are spirit soul, then we learn to see the super soul in the bodies of other living entities as well. Even in the heart of the enemy, the super soul is residing as a Paramatma. So we should respect other living entities, not only human beings, but any living entity. A Vaishnava does not want to harm even a small ant, because a Vaishnava remembers that even in the body of that small ant is the Paramatma residing. So we do not want to disrespect other living entities. Vasudev took the opportunity of Kaṁsa's benevolence and informed him that his atheistic activities were also due to this misconception of life, namely taking the material body to be the self. When Vasudev talked with Kaṁsa in such an illuminating way, Kaṁsa became pleased and his guilt for killing his nephews subsided. With the permission of his sister Devaki and brother-in-law Vasudev, he returned to his home with a relieved mind. So now Devaki and Vasudev are out of the prison house. But the next day, Kaṁsa called all his counselors together and narrated to them all the incidents that had happened the night before. All the counselors of Kaṁsa were demons and eternal enemies of the demigods, so they became depressed upon hearing their master speak of the night's events. And although they were not very much experienced or learned, they began to give instructions to Kaṁsa as follows. Dear sir, let us now make arrangements to kill all children who were born within the last 10 days in all towns, counties, villages, and pasturing grounds. Let us execute this plan indiscriminately. We think that the demigods cannot do anything against us if we perform these atrocities. They are always afraid of fighting with us, and even if they wish to check our activities, they will not dare to do so. Because of your immeasurable strength, they fear your bow. Indeed, we have practical experience that whenever you stood to fight with them and began to shower your arrows on them, they immediately fled in all directions just to save their lives. Many of the demigods were unable to fight with you, and they immediately surrendered themselves unto you by loosening their turbans and the tufts of hair on their heads. So, see, Kamsa, even if he had to undergo a change of heart, the association that he had, all these ministers, all these demons with which he is associating, they are giving him advice, they are giving him instructions, even though they are not experienced nor are they learned. So, one thing that is very freely available to everyone is advice. Everybody is ready to give advice. No, it's okay if we can take advice, but we should take advice from somebody who is learned and who's experienced. We take advice from senior authorities, from bona fide authorities who are not going to misguide us. But if we are going to take advice from people who are not trained up, who are not learned in literatures, then then we are not on the right path. No, that may take us away from Krishna. So we should be very, very careful what kind of people we are associating with. We should also be very, very careful what kind of people our children are associating with. So you can see here how these associates of Kamsa are not experienced, they are not learned, but they are giving him instructions. And what are they saying? That we have to kill all the children who were born within the last 10 days in all towns, counties, villages, and pasturing grounds. This is the advice that they are giving Kamsa. With folded hands, they begged you to spare them and said, My lord, we are all afraid of your strength. Please release us from this dangerous fight. We have also seen many times that you would never kill such surrendered fighters when they were all fearful, their bows, arrows, and chariots broken, forgetful of their military activities, and unable to fight with you. So actually, we have nothing to fear from these demigods. They are very proud of being great fighters in peacetime outside the war field, but actually they cannot show any talent or military power on the war field. Although Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Brahma are always ready to help the demigods, headed by Indra, we have no reason to be afraid of them. As far as Lord Vishnu is concerned, he has already hidden himself within the hearts of all living entities and he cannot come out. As far as Lord Shiva is concerned, he has renounced all activities and he has already entered into the forest. And Lord Brahma is always engaged in different types of austerities and meditation. And what to speak of Indra, he is a straw in comparison to your strength. Therefore, we have nothing to fear from any of these demigods. But we must not neglect them, for the demigods are our determined enemies. We must be careful to protect ourselves. To root them out from our very existence, we should just engage ourselves in your service and be always ready for your command. Just see what foolish advice they are giving to Kamsa. And here, see this part here, where he is mentioning that Kamsa would never kill such surrendered fighters when they were all fearful, their bows and arrows and chariots broken, forgetful of their military activities and unable to fight with you. So actually there are, even in war, there are rules and regulations, no? There are rules and regulations that one should not kill or attack when somebody's chariot is broken, or after sunset, there should be no war. So they are saying that actually you have followed all these rules and regulations in the past. Kamsa would not attack them when the rules of war would not permit it. But they are saying, but now is not the time for you to follow such rules and regulations. The demons continue to say, if there is some disease in the body which is neglected, it worsens and becomes incurable. Similarly, when one is not careful about restraining the senses and lets them loose, then it is very difficult to control them. Therefore, we must now be very careful of the demigods before they get too strong to be subdued. The foundation of the strength of the demigods is Lord Vishnu, because the ultimate goal of all religious principles is to satisfy him. The Vedic injunctions, the Brahmanas, the cows, austerities, sacrifices, performances of charity, and distribution of wealth are all for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. So let us immediately begin by killing all the Brahmanas who are in charge of the Vedic knowledge, along with the great sages who are in charge of sacrificial ritualistic performances. Let us kill all the cows which are the source of butter, which is so necessary for performing sacrifices. Please give us your permission to kill all these creatures. So see, the demons are giving two examples here. When when somebody has a disease, if the disease is not treated on time, then the disease will get worse and it will become incurable. If the disease is caught on time, then one can cure the disease. Similarly, they are saying about the senses. If you don't restrict the senses on time and you let them loose, you let them do whatever you want to do, then it is very, very difficult to control the senses. Therefore, children actually know they should, this what they say is actually correct. Because if we don't learn to train our senses and let the senses dictate to us what we should do and what we should not do, then the mind becomes our worst enemy. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that the mind, when controlled, is our best friend. But if the mind is not controlled, then it is our worst enemy. Therefore, we should train our mind, train to control our mind as soon as possible. And our children should be trained up to control the mind from their childhood itself. Not that we tell the children, okay, now you are young, you can do whatever you want to do. Okay, it's okay. They are still small, they can engage in meat eating. When they grow up, then they will give it up. No, you have to train them when young itself. Because if you let the mind loose, then it will be very, very hard to train the mind later. See, if we want someone, let's say, if we want our children to become a very good cricketer, are we going to put him in a cricket academy at the age of 20, 25? Or are we going to train them, put them in the cricket academy from their childhood itself? When will the training start? When will the training start?
Childhood.
From the childhood itself, isn't it? Same thing applies to even bhakti. The training should start from young. I pressed a button by mistake. Okay. So now, but then what these demons are advising Kamsa, they are saying that we should kill all the brahmanas who are doing all these rituals, who are doing all the, and all the sages and the brahmanas who are doing all these yagyas. And they want to kill the cows. Because from the cows, they get milk, from milk, they get ghee, and ghee is a very, very important ingredient for offering in the yagyas. So they'll kill the cows so that there is no ghee, so that no yagyas can be done, and they want to kill all the brahmanas and the sages so that there are no yagyas that are going to happen. So this is the demoniac mentality. They want to stop any kind of religious practices. The demons, they want to stop. Now, unfortunately, now in Kali Yuga, this is exactly what is happening. Cows are being slaughtered wide scale all over the world for their meat, for their flesh. So Kamsa wanted to kill cows, but we are killing far more number of cows now in Kali Yuga all over the world, including in India, So this is not a very good situation for us. And even when it comes to brahmanas and sages, even now, if you see, when one takes to spirituality, then sometimes the family members, they are not so supportive. They're afraid, because now there are so many bogus gurus that we think that our children are being brainwashed. We think that our children should not take to spirituality. And sometimes the friends also, they will make fun of you because you're following a spiritual life. But if somebody is smoking a cigarette and drinking a glass of whiskey in a party, then that is considered high society. So see, Kali Yuga is very much now on these lines, what these demons are saying. Actually, the limbs of the transcendental body of Lord Vishnu are the Brahmanas, the cows, Vedic knowledge, austerity, truthfulness, sense and mind control, faithfulness, charity, tolerance, and performance of sacrifices. Lord Vishnu is situated in everyone's heart and is the leader of all demigods, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Therefore, we think that to persecute the great sages and Brahmanas is to kill Lord Vishnu. So they are saying we can kill Vishnu by killing the sages and the brahmanas. By torturing the sages and the brahmanas, automatically we will kill Lord Vishnu. It's like if you want to kill the parents, then you kill the children and the parents are automatically dead, like that. Thus, being advised by his demoniac ministers, Kamsa, who was from the very beginning the greatest rascal, decided to persecute the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas, being entrapped by the shackles of all devouring eternal time. He ordered the demons to harass all kinds of saintly persons, and then he entered his house. The adherents of Kamsa were all influenced by the mode of passion as well as illusion by the mode of ignorance, and their only business was to create enmity with saintly persons. Such activities can only reduce one's duration of life. So what will happen if one is going to trouble create enmity with saintly persons, then it will reduce one's duration of life. The demons accelerated the process and invited their deaths as soon as possible. The result of persecuting saintly persons is not only untimely death. So that is not the only reaction. But the act is so offensive that the perpetrator also gradually loses his beauty, his fame, and his religious principles, and thus his promotion to higher planets is checked. Driven by various kinds of mental concoctions, the demons diminish all kinds of auspiciousness. An offense at the lotus feet of the devotees and brahmanas is a greater offense than that committed at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A civilization that commits such sinful activities generally loses all faith in the Supreme Lord, and such a godless civilization becomes the source of all calamities in human society. So, see, it's so much more important that one should not offend the devotees of the Lord. One should not offend the saintly people. One should not offend the Brahmanas or the Vaishnavas, because they are very, very dear to the Lord. They are very, very dear to the Lord. And in fact, here it's described here how an offense at the lotus feet of the devotees and brahmanas is a greater offense than that committed at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if we offend the Lord, that is also an offense. That is a serious offense. That is a serious crime. But offending a devotee of the Lord is an even more serious crime. It's an even more serious crime, because the Lord may forgive the offense that we commit to him, but he will not forgive the offense that we commit to his devotees. Just as how a parent, somebody insults the parent may tolerate. But when somebody insults the child of the parent, then the parent will not be able to bear. No? So therefore, we should be very, very careful of not committing Vaishnava aparad, offense. See, there are two things. One is sin and the other is offense. One is pap and one is aparad. Aparad is a more serious crime compared to sinful activities. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 4th chapter of Kṛṣṇa. Kaṁsa begins his persecutions. Yeah, Shailesh, you have your hand raised.
In this context, what is the meaning of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas?
Brahmana is okay. So in the Varnashram system, we have Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, right? Brahmanas are the teachers of the society. Kshatriyas are the warriors. Vaishyas are the business class, and Shudras are the worker class. So this Brahmana refers to the Brahmana of the Varnashram system. And Vaishnava is a devotee of Lord Vishnu, or Krishna as a Vaishnava. Okay. Okay. So see here, there is a verse on the importance of devotee association, because how we were discussing Kaṁsa was associating with demons. Therefore, we should be careful that we don't associate with demons or people with demoniac mentality. We should always associate with saintly people. We should always associate with devotees. So there is this very nice verse Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaks in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. He says, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Kai, Lavamatra Sadhu Sange, Sarva Siddhi Hai. So the verdict of all revealed scriptures is that is that by even a moment's association with a pure devotee, one can attain all success. Lava matra means 1/11th of a second. So by associating with a devotee for even 1/11th of a second, lava matra sadhu sange, sarva siddhi hai, means all success can be attained even by getting the association of a devotee for 1/11th of a second. And this is the verdict of all the shastras. Sarva shastra kai. All the shastras are revealing this very same thing. So therefore, it is very, very important that we can associate with devotees. On that note, we come to the end of today's presentation by the mercy of Sri Guru and Sri Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Mataji, can I ask you one question?
Yes.
Can you tell the difference between pap and the other word?
Aparad.
Pap
Aparad.
and aparad. Okay, so
Yeah.
pap and aparad, they are both crimes. But aparad is a more serious crime. And pap can be removed by chanting the holy name. Of course, not knowingly. It's not that we knowingly commit pap or sin. and then we are chanting the holy name to counteract that. No. But the sins that we may have performed in the past and the sins that we are doing now or we may do in the future unknowingly, no, unknowingly, because we commit so many sinful activities. Even by speaking, we are killing so many living entities. When we walk on the road, we are killing so many living entities. So these are the sins and we have to take the karmic reaction. But all these sins that we commit unknowingly can be counteracted by the chanting of the holy name. So these are the sins, right? But aparad is a more serious crime and it is done knowingly. And aparad cannot be counteracted by chanting the holy name. Of course, the holy name is so powerful that the potency is there in the holy name to counteract aparad, but the Lord withdraws the potency. Just as how we may have money in the bank account, the money is there, but the bank account is frozen. No, we are not able to use that money. So the holy name it has a potency, but it does not, because the Lord does not allow it to be to counteract the aparad. So aparad means there can be Guru aparad, there can be Nam aparad, there can be Vaishnava aparad, like that. So these are all offenses. And these can be counteracted only by asking for forgiveness from the person whom we have offended. If we commit Vaishnava aparad, the only way to counteract Vaishnava aparad is by asking forgiveness from the Vaishnava, from the devotee whom we have offended. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Priyanka, you have your hand raised.
Yes, Mataji, there is one statement which Kaṁsa says that actually this was not done by me, because all these are predefined activities. So, should we also think in this way, or is this statement, how do we validate this statement if the statement is correct? Uh, should we consider that the statement is correct, or should we consider that the statement is not correct?
Yeah, the statement is correct from one angle of vision that yes, it was predestined. It was already written in the destiny that Kamsa is going to kill them. But that cannot be used as an excuse by Kamsa. I mean, he cannot get away from the crime. He cannot use that as an excuse that it was predestined. Still, still he is answerable for it. If you have to say that it is predestined, yes, it is predestined. But because it is predestined, can we excuse Kamsa? No, we cannot. Because he uses free will. Okay.
One random question came to my mind. Does the feeling of regret reduces our karmic result?
The feeling of regret?
Reduces our karmic result.
See, when we regret our actions and then we want to correct our actions. So when we want to correct our actions, what do? We pray for the mercy of Guru and Kṛṣṇa, right? Because if we are regretting, but we are not doing anything about it, then how are we going to correct it? But when we genuinely regret, then automatically we take to bhakti. It's only a natural after effect of a genuine regret. We take to bhakti, we beg for forgiveness from Guru and Kṛṣṇa. And when we beg from forgiveness from Guru and Kṛṣṇa, we take to bhakti. And bhakti, yes, it can remove, it can overwrite our past sinful activities.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anything else? Yes, Shailesh.
I just wanted to understand. Yeah, let us say if you do not have regret, but you still go towards bhakti, does that also purify your karma, or you need to have regret as well?
No, if you say for bhakti, there are no rules and regulations. Bhakti is sarvatra sarvada. It should be practiced by everyone at all times, at all places, under all circumstances. So you don't have to wait for regret. You don't have to wait for anything to start bhakti. Just take up bhakti. With bhakti, automatically you start to think. You know, when you take to bhakti, when you take to chanting the holy name, it automatically removes all the impurities from the heart, including all the regrets. It comes automatically. It's like you have entered a room that is dirty and you have started to clean the room with a broomstick, right? So when you clean, automatically the impurities will go. So when we chant, when we take to bhakti, when we engage in devotional service, then automatically we are cleaning the impurities in the heart. So that will automatically go by default. We don't have to wait for anything. Okay. Shivani?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. So, Can bhakti ratify one's aparadhs as well or no?
Yeah, aparadh can be removed only when we ask for forgiveness from the person whom we have committed that aparadh towards, whom we have offended. That is very, very important. So that is a part of bhakti. Because when we ask for forgiveness, we are making ourselves humble. And humility is a very, very important quality for us to engage in bhakti. So yes, but if we are chanting and following the four principles and we have offended a Vaishnava, but we never ask the Vaishnava for forgiveness, then we cannot counteract it. We have to ask for forgiveness from the person whom we have offended. That's very, very important. We see many pastimes like the pastime of Jagai and Madai or Durvasa, where the Vaishnava who was offended, one had to ask for forgiveness from that person.
Okay, thank you, Hare Krishna.
You're welcome. Hare Krishna. Anything else?
This is besides the subject matter of today's uh, class, but Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ji talks about 10 offenses
Yes.
while doing chanting.
Yes.
Are we going to cover them anytime?
We will try to cover them at some point during our course. I will try to bring it up in some context sometime in the future. Okay. But for that, you have to stay with us for the next 2 years or so. Actually, there is an echo. I'm not able to understand what you're saying. Anything else?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Koti Koti Dandvat Pranam to your sincere seva. Srila Prabhupada Piludev, Sri Sri Radha Gopinath ki jai, Anant Koti Dandvat Pranam to H.H. Pataka Maharaj. Mataji, feel that we are hearing from H.H. Pataka Maharaj. That much potency in your
I couldn't understand the answer.
Oh, I was saying that at some point during our course, we will try to cover the 10 offenses.
20 items.
We will try to bring it up. I will connect it with something that we can read in the future, and we will discuss the 10 offenses. It's a very, very important subject matter that you have mentioned. So yes, we will definitely cover it at some point. Okay. Dadmelis, you have a question?
Hare Krishna, Mataji, thank you so much for sharing us with your knowledge. I have a simple question. I want to know if you have any examples, simple examples of life about Vaishnava Aparadh.
Examples about Vaishnava Aparadh from the Shastra?
Yes.
Okay, so can I tell the story of Durvasa Muni and Ambarish?
Yes, please, mother. Please, mother.
Okay. So there is this history of Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni, the great sage, he was known for his anger. He would be angry very easily. And he goes to visit Ambarish Maharaj. He's a king. Ambarish Maharaj is a king, but he's also a devotee. No? So it so happened that when Durvasa Muni went to meet Ambarish Maharaj, it was an Ekadasi. So he was fasting at that time. And Ambarish Maharaj invited Durvasa Muni to come and I'm sorry, it was not an Ekadasi, it was a Dwadasi. The next day of Ekadasi when it was time to break the fast. So Ambarish Maharaj invited Durvasa Muni and Durvasa Muni said, yes, we can honor Prasad together, but I will go and have a bath and I will come back. Now, by the time Durvasa Muni would come back, the time was ticking because the Ekadasi fast is broken on a Dwadasi and it is broken within a certain time window. And it is important to break the fast within that time window because otherwise one does not, one will not get the full benefit of doing that fast. So it's very, very important according to Shastras that we break the Ekadasi fast on Dwadasi at the appropriate time period as it is given to us. So the time was ticking, the time to break the fast was going away, and still Durvasa Muni had not returned. So Ambarish Maharaj, he's a devotee, and he asked his advisors, who are also devotees, now what to do, because if he eats without Durvasa Muni, that is like insulting your guest, because you eat after your guest. No, you don't eat before your guest. But then if he does not eat, he will not be breaking his Ekadasi fast on time. So his ministers advised him that okay, you drink water, because drinking water is like breaking your fast also and not breaking your fast also. So this way you will not eat without insulting Durvasa Muni, and at the same time you will also break your fast. Now just when he was about to drink the water, Durvasa Muni appears and he is furious. He says that you have insulted me. How can you consume? This is not the etiquette. And so on and so forth. And then Durvasa Muni he creates a demon by his mystic powers, because he is this very, very powerful demon. He creates this demon to kill Ambarish Maharaj. And Ambarish Maharaj is a devotee. He is standing there with folded hands. Immediately the Sudarshan Chakra appears to save Ambarish, because he's a Vaishnava, no? So that Sudarshan Chakra immediately kills that demon that Ambarish Maharaj has created. And then the Sudarshan Chakra goes towards Durvasa Muni to kill Durvasa Muni. So Durvasa Muni runs and he goes to Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma tells him, I cannot save you from the Sudarshan Chakra. And then he goes to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva tells Durvasa that I cannot save you from the Sudarshan Chakra. This weapon is not mine. This belongs to Lord Vishnu. So then again Durvasa Muni goes to Lord Vishnu and he says, please save me from your Sudarshan Chakra. Please save me from your weapon. And then Lord Vishnu says, I will not save you from this weapon. If you want to save your life, you go to Ambarish and you ask for forgiveness to Ambarish. So then Durvasa Muni comes back to Ambarish Maharaj, and Ambarish Maharaj is still waiting there with folded hands. And he comes back to Ambarish Maharaj and he tells Ambarish Maharaj, please forgive me for the offense I have committed. And Ambarish Maharaj, he says, yes, yes, I forgive you, no problem, everything is forgiven. And immediately after that, the Sudarshan Chakra disappears and the life of Durvasa Muni is spared. So we see how even Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, they did not save Durvasa Muni. He had to ask for forgiveness from the person he offended. Only then he was forgiven from his offense. So this is one example of Vaishnava Aparadh. We should ask for forgiveness from the person we have offended. That's very, very important. Estavian, is it okay, Dadmaris?
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anything else?
So Mataji, if aparad and sin, you have given a definition of sins and aparad. Sins can be deleted by doing chanting, and aparad cannot be, because the Lord does not sanctions the chanting because of the aparad, right? So what if someone's devotional service completely finished and no chanting is done, nothing else is done? Then that means that they have done in aparad and Vaishnavas. And now, how would they say sorry if there's too many Vaishnavas?
If there are too many
How would
Vaishnavas?
yeah, how would they remember if there are too many Vaishnavas? You know, an example would be the story of Ritvik and ISKCON. Ritviks are doing aparad towards ISKCON, and some of the ISKCONs are doing, so how would they be forgiving each other? I mean, I don't understand if there's so many of them.
Well, the rule does not change irrespective of the numbers. It's the same law applies irrespective of if there's one aparad or a quadrillion aparads. The rules don't change by the numbers. They still have to pay for the karmic reaction if there is any aparad. Doesn't matter what scale it is on.
You're saying they'd have to take rebirth again and come with another different body. They won't be able to go back to Godhead in this lifetime?
I don't know. The laws of karma are very fine. You cannot understand. You can see the law of karma is very, very complex. You cannot say A plus B is equal to C. There will be reaction. Now, how, when it is rectified, maybe it would be rectified within that lifetime. We don't know.
What if the reaction is no more doing japa, no more having any emotions and doing bhakti stoti finish on, no more self-love? Then how should that devotee say sorry to who?
He has to go back to whom? He has to say, one should always, if you don't know whom you have offended, but you see that your spiritual life is affected, then you pray to the Lord. Oh, my dear Lord Krishna, please let me know. Please enlighten me. Please show me whom have I offended. The Lord will answer your question. I was listening, I heard this class, and the speaker was saying, now he's a very big speaker, a very good preacher, very nice devotee. But it so happened that he spoke something. Uh, he was in a car with some sponsors of the temple, and he said something slipped out of his mouth which he should not have said. No. So he went to the Lord and he was praying in front of the deities. Why did I say that? How come that thing came out of my mouth? Please let me know what offense I have committed. So, and then as he was praying this, as soon as he opened his eyes, he saw another devotee in the temple room, another Vaishnava in the temple room. And then he remembered that he had commented about this other devotee to somebody else, saying that, oh, this devotee actually most of the time he speaks the wrong things at the wrong time. So he had made that comment. So then, Krishna answered his question that because you said this for somebody else, therefore this thing slipped out of your mouth right now. So if you don't know whom you have offended, then you pray to the Lord to somehow or the other give you an indication and show you whom you have offended. When you pray sincerely, then Krishna will definitely answer your prayers. And another good thing is when you are with Vaishnavas or you send letters or there is any communication, you can always say, please forgive me for any offenses I may have committed knowingly or unknowingly. That's a good statement to say as well.
Also, then, okay. Okay.
Okay, are we ready for the test? Yeah, Priyanka, you have a question?
Yes.
So one question, Mataji. Is the offense in the mind equal to the offense with the word? I mean, I know what is the reaction to with the word, but is it same as the offense in the mind? Sometimes people think in the mind, but no, they do not do it in words. So do they get the same result?
Yeah, so in Kali Yuga, we have this facility that the offenses that we commit with the mind, we don't take the reaction for that. As long as it's only mental, in Kali Yuga, we are excused. Because Kali Yuga is the most rotten and fallen age. So we are given that because mind, we can think of so many crazy things. But as long as we don't put it into action, then we are excused. But what we do mentally, like when we do Manasa Puja, like we discussed the Brahmana who was testing the temperature and his finger actually got burned. So whatever good karma or devotional service we do mentally, because we are not able to do physically, circumstances don't permit it, then we get the benefit. And whatever offenses we do mentally, then we don't take the offenses in Kali Yuga. Okay, this is what Shastra says.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
This was Hare Krishna. This was the question I have been asking many devotees and many of the high sages. And I've got the two versions distinctly, From one, they say that any thought of the mind, the karma you create of the mind is much, much more aggressive rather than, with action or with words. And the other way also I've heard, like what you mentioned, that any karma created by the mind is not an offense, like, till it comes into action. How do I clear this point? This is contradictory. I've heard the two versions,
So what you need is a Shastric evidence, Shastric reference. You need Shastra, you need to corroborate this from Shastra to see which of the two statements is correct. Because people may say many things, but you need to see what is it that Shastra actually says. So that's why we need to know our scriptures as well. That's very, very important. I will look up for the Shastra, Shastric reference, and I will send it to you.
Yeah, okay. I think that will make it really, really clear for me, because this has been in my mind very often, and I have been asking the same question, and I've got the two different, versions distinctly, exactly opposite what.
Okay.
So if you could just clear this matter with much more of your knowledge and the scriptures that you go through, that will make it very, very clear with me.
I will send you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Mataji, one more question add on for the prior question I asked. So when someone does aparadha and criticize and fault finding other Vaishnavas or other Bhaktajan, what are they, when they do sin like that, do they take other people's karma, like other devotees' karma? Is God doing this to put you in this situation so you can hear blaspheming from others, so they can remove your karma, and they're taking your karma?
Your question is not clear to me, Sri Harirada.
Yeah, the question I asked prior to this, the same question about the aparadha sin, that when someone blasphemes you, like, and criticize you, fault finding you, are they taking your karma, bad karma? Is that why God puts you in such situations?
So when we blaspheme another person, when we criticize another person, then we take the karma of that person. But God does not forcibly put you or make you criticize another Vaishnava. No, that God does not do. There we are using our free will. But when we
But
criticize, not only Vaishnavas, when we criticize anyone, we take part of that person's karma.
okay, so if we criticize like Prabhupada's disciples or other Swamis and Maharaj in ISKCON, that means we are taking their karma?
Yeah, only
That's
bad.
Huh? Only bad karma we are taking.
Yeah, but they don't have any bad karma. But you are creating more bad karma for yourself. Actually, it's an offense to criticize a guru. That is very, very serious offense. That is very, very serious offense.
Okay.
Okay, are we ready?
Yes, we are.
Okay, 1 second. Oh, why did it? Where I have shared the link in the chat. Can you all access it? Can you access the link?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, yes.
So as
Mataji, I cannot access the link. Is it in the same
it's in the Zoom chat.
WhatsApp? Okay.
I'll share it again.
Sorry.
So as you finish your exam, thank you all very much for joining. Till then, have a nice weekend. Krishna consciousness. Vancha kalpataruvyaschа kripa sindhu vacha. Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Antra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Gaura Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol.
Wait,
I'm
which
sorry, Mataji. I cannot still log into it.
Can you send me a WhatsApp? I'll send you the link in your WhatsApp.
Question from the past exam chapter.